hearing. My name is Jan Craig. As president of the Upshur County Board of Education, I have determined that at least a quorum of the board and the superintendent are present. It is now 5:30. Registration to address the board at this public hearing has now closed. We will proceed with roll call.
Jan Craig.
Present.
Sherry Dean.
Present.
Susan King.
Here.
William Parker.
Present.
Roy Wager.
Present.
Christine Miller, I'm here. Tim DeRico.
Present.
April Sinek.
Present.
Sarah Wills. Elaine Pugh.
Present.
Also, for the record, Madam President, I would like to have the folks who are here from the State Department state their names so we can make it a part of our record.
Jeffrey Kelly, Uriah Cummings, Michael Willow.
We also have with us this evening, representing and helping us this evening, Ms. Kim Croyle from Bowles Rice Law Firm.
If you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mrs. Dean, will you read us?
Yes, ma'am.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This hearing is convened in accordance with the terms of the West Virginia Code 18-5-13A and State Board of Education Policy 6204 in connection with the proposed closure of Rock Cave Elementary School and its consolidation merger into French Creek Elementary School. The statute and state board policy provide that members of the public, 1, have a right to be present, 2, have a right to submit statements and testimony, and 3, have a right to question school officials. Members of the public, in the order of sign-in, will be allowed to make statements, offer testimony, and ask questions of school officials. A total of 3 members of the public have indicated their desire to submit statements or testimony or to question school officials. In order to give every speaker a fair opportunity to submit statements and testimony and to question school officials, 5 minutes have been allotted for each registered speaker. The responses of school officials to questions shall not be included in the time allotted. No member of the public may present more than once. No members of the public may grant time to another presenter. Mrs. April Sinek has been designated as the timekeeper and will advise when 1 minute is remaining for each presentation and when time has expired. It is not necessary to consume the total amount of time allotted. As stated in the public notice of this hearing, written statements and materials will also be given full consideration. All questions shall initially be directed to the superintendent. The superintendent may elect to respond to the question or may delegate another school official to respond to the question. At the conclusion of all presentations by members of the public, the superintendent or another member of the administration will be given the opportunity to respond to any information that has been presented by members of the public. Apart from questions directed to the superintendent and answered by the superintendent or another member of the administration, there will be no direct debate or dialogue between members of the public and board members or members of the public and school officials. No personal attacks will be tolerated. No decision on the proposed closure will be made tonight. The proposed closure of Rock Cave Elementary School and the consolidation of its students into French Creek Elementary School will be the subject of a board meeting scheduled for November 20th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. At that time, the board will conduct all deliberations in open session and a vote will be taken in open session following the board's deliberation. To begin, I will ask Superintendent Miller to provide a summation of the executive summary and impact statement for the proposed closure and consolidation.
Good evening, and thank you very much for joining us this evening. We deeply appreciate your time and your commitment to our students and schools as we discuss an important and difficult topic, the possible closure of Rock Cave Elementary and its merger with French Creek Elementary. First, we want to acknowledge the significance of this conversation. School closures are never easy. They are decisions no board or superintendent wants to make because we understand the deep emotional and historical connection our schools hold for families, staff, and communities. These schools are more than buildings. They represent memories, traditions, and a sense of belonging. Generations of families have walked these halls, and we do not take that lightly. At the same time, we have a responsibility to ensure that our school system remains financially sustainable and able to provide the best possible education for every student. Like many counties across West Virginia, Upshur County Schools continues to experience a decline in student enrollment. Because state funding is directly tied to enrollment, this trend does have a significant impact on our budget and our ability to maintain programs and services. To provide context, French Creek Elementary was originally built for 328 students and currently serves 221. Rock Cave Elementary was built for 154 students and now serves 71. This decline is not isolated. It is system-wide, and it affects our ability to sustain programs and offer the learning experiences our students deserve. Fewer students mean fewer resources, and that reality has placed increasing strain on our budget. For the current school year alone, we have seen an additional loss of 183 students, which translates to approximately $1.6 million in reduced funding. This will require further difficult decisions as we prepare for the 2026-2027 budget. We have worked hard to preserve programs and support services, but rising operational costs and reduced funding make the current path unsustainable. We have already reduced personnel costs and continue to do so carefully, prioritizing classroom support for students. These reductions will occur across all levels of the system, but we remain committed to maintaining essential services for our students. Most importantly, we do want to focus on what this means for our students. Our goal remains the same: to provide every child with a safe, supportive, and enriching educational environment. In some cases, consolidating resources can help us strengthen academic offerings, enhance support services, and invest more deeply in the schools that remain. Every decision we make is guided by what is best for students within the resources we have available. This is not a decision we take lightly. We are here tonight to listen, answer your questions, and engage in an open and respectful dialogue. Your voices matter, and your input will help guide the path forward. Thank you for your continued partnership and for your unwavering commitment to our students.
At this time, we will now proceed to hear from those who have signed up to address the board this evening. Our first person is Cheyenne Troxel.
Before we begin, let's define what a hearing is in its legal and official sense. An official meeting to collect facts about an incident or problem. A formal proceeding, often before a court or administrative body, to decide on a specific matter. Now let's ask the critical question: how is this process ethical when the state has taken over our local Board of Education, the very body that by law is supposed to propose the school closure per West Virginia Code 18-5-13A? Under the current arrangement, the state-appointed superintendent acts as the prosecutor, while the State Board of Education serves as both judge and jury. This creates an extreme and undeniable bias. Every decision maker in this process is from the state level. Meanwhile, we, the community, parents, and the students, are treated as a defendant, given only 5 minutes to plead our case. We have no legal representation, no advocates for the children whose lives will be directly impacted. This is not a fair hearing. This is a predetermined process disguised as due process. When the same entity that proposes a closure also controls the outcome, the principle of impartiality is completely lost. The law envisions checks and balances, but here there are none. Instead, we have a system where the state controls every lever, and the voices of the most affected, the families, are reduced to a token gesture. I urge you to consider, is this truly a hearing, or is it a formality to legitimize a decision already made? If the purpose of this hearing is to collect facts and weigh them fairly, then this process fails that definition entirely. Our children deserve better, our community deserves better, and our democratic principles demand better. I must also strongly oppose the acceptance of the impact statement prepared by the state-appointed superintendent. This document fails to provide factual information necessary for the State Board of Education to make informed decisions. Instead of presenting objective data and transparent analysis of how the proposed closure will affect students, families, and community, the statement is vague and lacks substantial evidence. Without clear, accurate, and relevant facts, the impact statement cannot serve as a reliable foundation for any decision that so profoundly affects our children's futures. The absence of meaningful data undermines the integrity of the process and further erodes trust in the fairness of the proceedings. I urge the board to reject this inadequate impact statement and demand a thorough, fact-based assessment before any action is taken. I'm not going to read this because I don't have enough time, but I have referenced every section in the impact statement that I've went through that has inaccuracies. I also stand before you as a local business owner and then also a tax-paying citizen who deeply cares about the future of our community, businesses, and well-being of our children. I'm extremely frustrated over the mismanagement of funds from the previous administration and the current decisions, proposals, and so-called good ideas from the current administration. Your actions have been an absolute disgrace to our children and communities. Instead of individuals having to take responsibility for their actions, children have been left with the burden. It has been stated that you guys, at the past 3 board meetings, have millions of dollars in unrestricted funds. Currently knowing that RCS is already budgeted for in the past budget, how is it even a possibility that we're standing before you today pleading our cases? This sounds to me like yet again another mismanagement of funds is happening, robbing the taxpayers, children, and communities of their right to a fair education. As business owners, we pay our taxes with the understanding that those funds will help strengthen our community, providing essential services, improving infrastructure, and most importantly, supporting our local schools. Children of Rock Cave, many of whom are sons and daughters of business owners, deserve the right to attend school within their own district that they pay for. Research has consistently shown that closing schools in rural communities can have devastating economic effects. According to studies from the National Education Policy Center and the Rural School for Community Trust, when local schools closes, it often leads to a decline of population, reduced property values, and loss of jobs. Businesses such as mine rely on strong community to thrive, and that strength starts with the local school. Since you're all worried about funding and nothing else, just think about what will happen when the property values drop. Job loss and closure of businesses happen. You will receive way less money from your levies, and actions do and will have consequences. For lower income areas like our own, the impact is even greater. It disproportionately affects families who may not have the means to transport their children to distant schools, and leading to decreased attendance and engagement, all of which is required of them to receive funding and maintain their qualified professionals. You're setting them up for failure with this proposed merger. When families are forced to relocate for better access to education, small businesses lose loyal customers. And I didn't get to finish, so I'll give you guys a copy.
Thank you for your presentation, Cheyenne. Our next person is Delora Brown.
I'm a little shorter.
You're fine.
I'm a lot shorter. I want to first and foremost thank you all for the opportunity to speak. I know several of you. My name is Delora Brown, and I stand here tonight not only as a lifelong resident of this community, but as a dedicated taxpayer as well, and a voter who cares deeply about our kids, our future, and the values that bind all of us together. I'm here to express my strong opposition to the closure of Rock Cave School. Like many of you, I am concerned about our local tax dollars and the votes that we cast to support our schools that are not being respected or considered in this decision. Since our local Board of Education is currently under state takeover, it feels as though our voices have been silenced at a critical time for our community. With that being said, this raises serious ethical questions as to what's right for the state to make decisions with such lasting consequences for our families, for our children, our local economy. These decisions will impact us for decades to come, not just, this year, making this budget Without truly listening to those who live here and work here, what message does that send when local input is dismissed in the decisions that are being made at this moment, even though it's our tax money that funds these schools? We must also ask, how will closing Rock Cave Elementary actually benefit the community? Will our children have better access to education? Because these classes are going to be overcrowded. You're going to be moving, 71 children? Or will they face longer bus rides, decreased parental involvement, and the loss of a safe and nurturing environment? Will the property values of the community spirit improve, or will they decline? Generally, when a school closes, the property value of that community goes down. That's a given. The research on rural school closures is clear. The disadvantages far outweigh any potential for the savings or perceived benefits. Studies show that closing rural schools often leads to declining academic achievement, lower graduation rates, and reduced community engagement. Our school, as you said, is more than just a building. It's the heart of Rock Cave. It provides stability, support, opportunity for children and future children. Just because enrollment's down now doesn't mean it's not going to go up in the future. When a rural school closes, the community suffers, and what we lose cannot be measured in dollars and cents. I urge the powers that be to reconsider this decision. Let us restore local control and listen to the people who know this community best. We live here. We spend our money here. We play at the playgrounds together. It's all one big community. Our children, our families, and our future deserve nothing less. So please stand with us to keep Rock Cave School open. Thank you.
Thank you, Delora. Our next speaker is Abigail Jeffries.
Would you like to submit your written as part of the record?
Good evening. We'll be starting off with questions of legality. Rule 6204, page 6, 3.4.A.1. A separate hearing shall be held for each school proposed to be closed or consolidated, and shall also be held for each school that has been designated by the county to receive students from the schools proposed to be closed or consolidated. Primary consideration should be given to conducting the hearings at the affected schools. Question being, with French Creek at almost 90% capacity, should there be a hearing conducted at Tennerton Elementary since they will have to absorb any overflow?
No, because they are not part of the process right now. It's just French Creek and Rock Cave.
Okay. Rule 6204, page 7, 3.4.A.7, at least the county superintendent and a quorum of county board members from the county wherein an affected school is located shall attend the public hearings. Should this quorum not also apply to the State Board of Education, as they are the decision makers in this matter, and since our elected county representatives have no say in the matter?
The state board, through its superintendent, has appointed the designees that are here this evening to make the decision.
I Googled the question, when dealing with school closures in West Virginia, would a mistake in the impact statement make document requirements unfulfilled? The AI overview response was, a mistake in the impact statement could make document requirements unfulfilled, particularly if the error is substantive or compromises the public's right to information and due process. The severity of the consequences depends on the nature of the mistake and how it affects the county boards, in this case the state boards, ability to demonstrate substantial weight was given to the statement. As required by law, West Virginia law requires county boards of education, in our case, it was the appointed superintendent, to prepare an impact statement when considering school closures or consolidations and give it substantial weight in their, again, state BOE decision-making process. So some, also key factors that it noted: substantive versus clerical errors. A minor clerical error, example, a typo in a non-critical number, is less likely to invalidate the process. However, a substantive error that misrepresents key data, example, inaccurate enrollment projections, financial data, or impact on the community, could be grounds for a legal challenge, potentially requiring the board to redo part of the process or face an injunction. Due process and public participation. The impact statement is a critical component of the public hearing and due process requirements, ensuring the community is informed and can provide meaningful input. If a mistake misleads the public or limits their ability to participate effectively in the public hearing, it undermines the purpose of the law and could be seen as an unfulfilled requirement. Substantial weight requirement. The law explicitly states the board must give the impact statement substantial weight. An impact statement with significant errors may be seen as an unreliable document that cannot be given substantial weight, thus failing a core legal requirement. Under legal challenges, affected parties, example, parents, community members, local school improvement councils, can challenge the school closure decision in court. The court will likely review whether the county board followed all statutory and regulatory procedures correctly. A significant error in the impact statement would be a primary point of contention in such a case. In summary, while a minor oversight might not stop a school closure, a significant error in the impact statement could lead to the document requirements being deemed unfulfilled and potentially halt or reverse the closure process through legal action. Some of those things that I would like to point out under on page 25 under the community, the last sentence. Oh no, I'm sorry, I was on the wrong page. That was the community. The known relationships within the communities. This sounds like a lot of fluff and everything, like everyone would get along super dandy, and ideally that would be the case, but we know how children are. We know how on Facebook we can see how some parents are as far as getting along in rivalries and things of the sort. So it's really not going to end up being that situation. And it doesn't really state in this impact statement the negative effect that it's going to have on the community of Rockhaven. There are businesses, grocery stores, restaurants that rely on people circulating around that. If people move this direction, all the businesses are going to move this direction. The key point that I can't find the sentence is, it says that it's, is that my time? Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Abigail.
Would you like to submit any of those written
I'll do that
documents?
later, thank you.
I will now ask the administration to respond to any information that has been presented. Do you have any response for any questions? I do not. Okay. This concludes this public hearing. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Mr. Parker, second?
Second.
Was that Mrs. Dean? All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
This meeting is now adjourned at 5:54.